It's the age-old story of the person who would be the martial arts king. We're talking about the birth of the dragon. Also, the age-old story of a ballerina that wants to be the ballerina queen. We're talking Leap. Also, it's the age-old story of a guy whose dad wants to destroy the universe. Guardians of the Galaxy 2 comes home. We'll be talking about that and a whole lot more on this episode of Extra Butter. Come on in to the brand spanking new Century 16 Laguna here in Elk Grove, where we're talking about movies the way you talk about movies. It's me and these guys I call my friends. What up?
What's up?
All right, I want you to get to know everybody. In fact, stalk them, if you will, on social media. You'll find us at
Alexa Renee, you can find me at Lexa Renee.
And I'm Kelly Savannah Deaton. You can find me at Kelly Savannah44.
And I'm Brian, and you can find me at Brian C. Comedy on all the social medias.
or in person at the world-famous comedy spot.
Yeah.
I'm Marcus Allen. Find me at TV Marcus Allen. Let's hit the road running. We're talking about what crushed it at the box office. You called it. It was
Hitman's Bodyguard.
Oh, my goodness.
Come on, this movie has everything you'd want, right? Ryan Reynolds, action, romance, Ryan Reynolds, Samuel L. Jackson. I'm gonna say Samuel Jackson saying mother beep.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a classic. I think this movie is that buddy classic movie that we haven't seen in a long time.
Do you think the charisma of its two lead stars, that's what carried it?
No, well, you said Ryan Reynolds and Samuel L. Jackson. I mean, those two stand alone, hold their own ground, but those two together was like a whole other level, I feel like. It's comedy, though, at the same time. It's an action movie, but it's actually really funny because of the chemistry between those two. So, I loved it.
Yeah, when you talk buddy pictures, when I was a kid, we had Lethal Weapon, and now I feel like this fills that void.
Yeah, like another 48 hours, another 48 hours, all the buddy cop films. Yeah, of course.
But it's
just
actually
that they're bad guys. It's like a spin-off.
Speaking of dynamic duos, this one's trying to get hitched and try to get some help from them in doing so. Take a look.
Proposal ideas.
Yeah, he's a little gun shy. You guys are both married. You have marriage and love in this movie. Give him some advice.
I say he better get to it or you're gonna get to stepping.
6.5 years?
Right?
That's a
Yeah.
long
She ain't
time.
going nowhere. 6.5 years, she ain't going nowhere. I lived with my wife 10 years before I married her.
Oh, don't say that. That's not gonna help me.
I'm just giving you what's real. You know, and
10 years?
At the 10th year, you just have some wedding invitations printed with his name on them, and you send them out to his family and your friends and tell them you fucking better be there.
Yeah.
But won't that make me seem crazy? No?
No.
No.
It'll
Alright.
make you seem
I
like
like
you've
a
been
good
there 10
ultimatum.
years and you've had a fucking enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right,
go.
I like that. I'll
Yeah.
show him this.
Yeah.
I'll tell him you guys are gonna check
That's
up
just
if
for
he
you.
doesn't.
Yeah. That's kind of what happened to mine.
I love the transparency that Sam Jackson says that's exactly why he and his wife got married.
Yeah, he's very passionate about that. So I went home and showed my boyfriend, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully, I'm not gonna listen to Sam though. 10 years is a little. It's good advice, but let's make it.
Did it
6
back, but
years.
what did your boyfriend say?
He said he'll think about it.
Yeah, okay. All right, back to the movie Hitman's Bodyguard. Let's pull in someone else with a new perspective. Jackson Murphy, he's one of the youngest critics ever inducted into the Broadcast Film Critics Association, the people who bring you the Critics' Choice Awards. Jackson Murphy,
Hi,
everybody!
Jackson. Welcome.
Hey.
I've been talking to this guy. We used to have him on the show when he was Action Jackson. I think you were 4 years old.
4?
I was pretty young. Yeah, I met up with Regis the other day, and he was like, I've been a part of your life since you were 3.
I love hearing this guy do a Regis.
I know, that was pretty good. That was pretty good.
All right, Hitman's Bodyguard. Hit us.
I'm so sick of this. Ryan Reynolds, these snarky wisecracks. I hated Deadpool. Didn't like him in this. I'm so sick of Samuel L. Jackson just spewing out F-bombs for the sake of getting shock laughter out of the audience.
Mother. Do you know who I am?
If you're into a pointless plot and mindless dialogue, then I'm sure you'll like Hitman's Bodyguard. I really did not.
With all due respect, if this were my producer Bill's iPad, I would throw you across the room. How dare you blaspheme Deadpool like that? Nobody says anything disparaging about Deadpool, young man.
Not like it, Mark. I really did not. I thought it was annoying. I thought it just did not work for me.
Sit on the stick.
All right,
me.
back to the matter at hand. Why did you not like Hitman's Bodyguard?
I just didn't think it was fun or entertaining. The action scenes were really mindless, too. I only liked one action scene. It's the boat chase through Amsterdam, because nobody was talking during it.
That's it?
Yeah, Gary Oldman as the villain was a waste. Selma Hayek was not very good with her role. Just a mess.
Get right out of town.
You know what? I hate it too now. I hate it now.
Brian,
wait,
you can't jump on it. What
I'm
happened?
jumping ship.
Traitor!
I'm
Wait,
with him.
Jackson, okay, you didn't like the relationship between Ryan and Sam? You didn't find that funny at all?
No, they just really clashed, and it was really ordinary because we've seen them play these kinds of characters in so many other movies before. Sam Jackson in King Kong and Legend of Tarzan just in the past year, so just seeing that back again on display here, nothing new.
This is such a crock of...
Jackson, are you sure that you're not being biased and swayed because you didn't like Deadpool? Because I feel like saying that Hitman's Bodyguard was a mess is a little bit of a stretch.
Yeah. Ooh.
I'm no longer speaking to you since she said you didn't like Deadpool.
I didn't like it. I didn't like it. No, I go into every movie with an open mind and just try to see if I can be entertained, see if I like the production value, the direction, the editing, and a lot of it was just sloppy.
That doesn't make sense.
We're doing this in a movie theater. I'll be back. I'm gonna go get my money back.
Wait, no, Brian!
Ryan,
Come on, hey, take Boy Wonder with you.
Come on,
All right.
we're out of here.
Jackson,
Blasphemy, I tell
Jackson,
you,
where
blasphemy.
can we find you online?
You can find me on Twitter at LCJ Reviews, and the website is lights-camera-jackson.com.
We're gonna have everybody that disagrees with you, which is everyone at home, send the messages to him and tell him why he's wrong.
Now you know how to directly contact him.
I support you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Good, yeah.
Oh my gosh, Jackson, I
hate you!
You left him speechless.
That never happens. Mark has never been speechless.
I mean, look at my hand. Even holding the iPad, I'm like shaking. All right, pal. We will have you back on the show again sometime. We'll call you.
Thank you.
Bye, Jackson.
Bye, see you later.
What the son of a whose idea was it to have that kid on the show anyway?
You calm down.
I feel like he's gonna have a protester sign standing in front of the movies telling people not to see this movie. I loved it.
Were you sitting on the
it was
fence
good.
before?
Yeah. I mean, honestly. I mean, the thing is it's not that it's bad. It's entertaining. It's worth the money. But if I would have seen it at home, like on a, like a streaming service or something like that, it would have been just as fun. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't have to go see it because it's a story that I've kind of seen before. And I have seen those characters. He's right. He convinced me.
The characters are there, yes, but I feel like they put a new spin on it because we haven't seen them before together.
Look, just because you put spinners on a car doesn't mean it's a brand new car.
Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds is always my kind of car.
I think going back to like the chemistry, I think that's really what made the movie.
Sure.
You have two really great actors who are actually always good in action movies, so I don't know what you're talking about, Jackson.
I enjoyed my time at the movies with this.
Me too, and my time with Ryan
Well,
Reynolds.
we can agree to disagree.
Yeah.
It's not a bad movie. You should still go see it. I'm just saying, like, I kind of get why he's not 100% on board
It's
with
important.
Yeah.
We can't be the kiss-ass show all the time.
No.
We'll agree to disagree, and we'll all agree that you're wrong.
All right, maybe we can all come together on this Birth of the Dragon, the Bruce Lee story told from the eyes of someone who may or may not have the right to tell it. We'll talk about that, give you a sneak preview next. Welcome back. It is Extra Butter celebrating the brand new Century 16 here in Laguna Theaters, Elk Grove, California. They have the 4D presentation. They've got XD. Kind of awesome.
This is
They got cool lights on the wall and everything.
Yeah, this is a nice theater.
I love it. I was sitting on one of the chairs and I didn't even realize my elbow was leaning against it and I was moving back and I thought that there was something going on, but no, you just push your button. It's nice though.
I like it so much, I'm going to move here. I'm going to move in right there.
Right there? That seat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, hope you're doing great. Head to the movies this weekend. If so, you might want to check out something new. Although this isn't exactly new. Birth of the Dragon. It's the Bruce Lee story, highly controversial in the Asian community because basically you have the story of Bruce Lee's beginnings told by some white guy who was kind of there.
Well, I don't know much about Bruce Lee, don't hate me, Bruce Lee fans. And so actually I went in and I looked up a little bit of Bruce Lee history. And this whole movie centered around this famous Bruce Lee fight that he had. I didn't even know about it. And I found that was actually a really interesting aspect of it, but I can totally understand why it was so offensive to people outside, some people in the Asian community. Because of what Mark said. But if anything, you can learn a little bit about Bruce Lee and what made, what really put martial arts on the scene here in, the U.S.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you because you always hear Bruce Lee, I mean, rappers talk about him, like he's this famous figure, but you don't really know his story at all. Like if you ask anyone on the street, most people don't know. So I agree with you, that's why I liked it, is because I used to be a secondary black belt in karate, you know, just saying, but just saying, throwing it out there, but it's cool to actually see the martial arts and see his story and everything.
Did you just relate to Bruce Lee by being a second-degree?
That's an accomplishment.
Yeah, second, people, not one, second. I had a Bruce Lee
Not
poster.
white belt, orange belt.
Because you don't know Kung Fu.
I can relate to Bruce Lee because I saw Karate Kid, not the Ralph Macchio. I saw the one with Will Smith's son. Anywho, for those of you who weren't there, because you weren't, they started principal photography on this over 2 years ago, and we went behind the scenes. Take a look.
This is not karate.
1, 2.
This is Kung Fu. It's not a game. It is not a religion. It's about who lives and who dies. The Birth of the Dragon is about a legendary fight between Bruce Lee and Wang Jack Man.
You do not fight from your soul.
You want to show me what you mean?
Kung Fu for Wang Jack Man is spiritual. Kung Fu for Bruce Lee is to kick anybody's ass.
This fight changed martial arts history. Never bet against the street.
So that's the making of Birth of the Dragon almost 2 years ago. It was supposed to come out last year. What do you think happened?
I don't know what happened. I'm not really sure why it kept getting pushed back. Maybe the controversy.
Yeah, I think
don't know.
it might have had something to do with the controversy, but I don't.
Trying to land a date.
Do you remember that time the movie was so good they held on to it for an extended period of time?
Oh, that's why. That's exactly
I feel like this
why.
probably wouldn't be the case.
Hey,
No, that was a trick question because they never do that.
No, never.
Okay, you got to give Philip Ng, the actor who plays Bruce Lee, you got to give him some props because he, in his own life, he's actually a martial arts specialist and an action choreographer.
Oh, don't get me wrong. Phenomenal job.
Yeah,
They look dead on like each other too. On
and
top
he
of
did.
that,
Those moves
so.
aren't easy moves, and he did an amazing job. So talk about shoes to fill. Bruce Lee, you're playing Bruce Lee. Could you play Bruce Lee?
No.
Yeah.
No, why? I hope not. No.
What was that?
Would you be Jaden Smith?
Yeah. No.
Just checking.
What about Willow Smith?
No.
All right, if you're gonna go see this movie, you probably already know. Also coming up next, it's another attempt to get you to go to the movies because it's animated and you feel like you have to take the kids to see Leap. It's a Canadian import about a French story starring some great names. Who's in it? Why? We'll tell you next. Extra Butter. Hope you're having an awesome weekend. Talking about new movies at the box office. When something animated hits the big screen, we as parents feel obligated. Brian, you're a parent.
Yeah.
You've got to take the kids because it's animated.
If they see it, they want to go and check it out. And sometimes I can convince them not to if I think it's going to be bad. But most of the time, I got to see all the animated.
But is it just me, or is this the first movie since like Fantasia that's had like animated movie that's had ballerinas and ballet as the dance behind
We're
it?
talking about Leap, by the way.
Oh, yeah,
Leap.
we might want to let you guys know that. Leap.
That's what I find intriguing about this film is that it's about ballet.
It is, yeah.
So
Yeah, and I think it's the type of film that it has a message, but they kind of they keep that message forefront the entire time. Like you're never gonna forget about the message in this film.
But that's what I like about it. It's just a lighthearted, fun, happy-go-lucky movie. Like you know what you're gonna see. It's not some deeper meaning Pixar kind of movie. It's kind of just fun and the dancing and the music. Carly Rae Jepsen singing.
Yeah,
Remember Call Me Maybe?
In the American version, and I don't want to trash it because you're probably going to go see it and go, oh, my kids love this movie. I thought it was kind of subpar when you look at some of the great stuff that DreamWorks, some of the great stuff that Pixar is doing. It's It's a French-Canadian release, and now they've re-released it in America, dubbing in all new American voices.
Right.
That's where it gets good. You got like the legendary Mel Brooks. I didn't even know he was working anymore.
Elle Fanning.
Elle Fanning.
Matt Wolf.
Matt Wolf.
Elle Fanning is not, I mean, she's not new to this. I know she did Box Trolls, right?
Yeah.
She did
Yeah,
voice
right.
that. So,
That's a
you know,
pretty-
she's...
If you liked Box Trolls, you'll love. I think you just helped me make my point. Kate McKinnon's in it. We all agree you like Kate McKinnon.
Right.
So they have some top of the line
Sure.
people.
I think it's a
voicing this.
good underdog story. Everybody loves an underdog.
That's true.
That's true. And everybody loves Paris.
Let me tell you why I love Kate McKinnon. Okay, because she, in this, I think she's half crazy, which makes her brilliant when she performs,
Did she
right?
do her
Crazy
Hillary
women?
impression?
Not exactly. Well, there might be a little hint of that in here, but look at when she's convincing you why you should see the movie, what the takeaway is. Take a look.
I think the takeaway is that if you work hard, if you prepare, and you believe that life is mysterious and can bring you things that you didn't think it would, then good stuff can sometimes happen. Yeah. Yeah.
See what I mean?
I love it.
She's
I love
amazing.
it. I was right. You see, message.
See, she's a little crazy, but I love her in Ghostbusters too. She just always plays an incredible, strong woman role.
She was probably the person, like most people weren't most looking forward to Ghostbusters because of her, and she stole that. More importantly, when I sat down with her, she even stole the interview and she discovered something about the Legos. You'll see. Take a look. I want to show you guys something. I take the two of you everywhere I go.
Is it an
I was
animal?
like, Jesus,
Yeah,
what's
like,
he pulling out?
body parts or something.
It's like body. Is he gonna pull out an ear?
There's you.
How come I'm so? Oh,
And
Oh,
there's
the
you.
Legos.
The
Oh my
Legos.
goodness.
And now, if you'd like to
We're
take time.
so tiny.
that's so cute.
Finally, we're the same height. Oh.
God, why didn't I bring my Lego person? You're leaving me out.
Look at the legs. Look at it's on the thing.
Yeah. Oh my God, there's holes in my butt. That's not right.
Why is holes in, why is holes
You
in
have
our
holes
butt?
in your butt? Oh shoot! Some
That's
holes in
at
my
least one
feet.
step towards being anatomically correct.
Oh
It's got holes in them.
no! Shoot! Oh, my hands are screwed up too. They're
No,
just
your
like
hands-
this. We have got chameleon hands.
Oh, it's still cute.
We gotta make a phone call.
All right, so there you go. When you go in to do an interview, it helps if you bring merchandise from their film.
Yeah.
Especially with a hole in the butt.
I would
There
be
you
really
go.
excited if somebody made a Lego of me.
Yeah, that would be
That's like
pretty
a big
awesome.
accomplishment.
You should have a Lego on you by now.
Oh, my Lego would have a number of holes of various.
Anyway, this is a children's movie and it's very lighthearted and it's really a good film to take your kids to.
I can say nothing bad about it because I'm not the target audience. So Leap, now available for you and the kiddies in theaters everywhere. All right, coming up next, want to bring it home, Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Digital release last week. Now it's available on Blu-ray, etc. We'll talk with the stars next. Hey, welcome back. Hope you're having a great weekend. This is Extra Butter, and a few shout-outs. Han, first of all, thank you so much for watching the men and women of the American Forces Network, the men and women serving America all over the world.
Thank you.
63 different countries. Thanks for watching, and thanks for all you do.
I have a lesser shout out.
You got a shout-out?
Yeah.
Shout-out
yeah,
time.
It's not as important as that.
Shout-out.
I went to a baseball game.
Yeah?
You know, and Bob was there working at the baseball game, and he said, "Hey, you're the TV guy." And I was like, "Yeah." And he didn't really care about me. He just liked Kelly. But thank you. We had a
Thanks,
good
Bob.
time. Yeah, Bob's a
That's
good
to
guy.
Bob.
Shout out, Bob.
Yeah.
What are we on this side of the table? Chopped liver, Bob?
Don't push me, Bob. Now's not the time.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bob.
Yeah,
He knew
Bob.
nobody's names except for the hot blondes.
Bob.
Wait, Bob, he did have a blonde streak, so
Oh,
he could
that's
have
right.
been
Could've been
talking
you.
about Mark,
Could've been
actually.
Mark.
What's up, Bob?
I love you, bro, Montana.
Bob. Remember, Bob spelled backwards.
It's still Bob.
All right, anyway, moving on. Guardians of the Galaxy 2 now available to bring home.
Yeah.
Hey, Bob, maybe you and Kelly could get together and watch it sometime since her boyfriend's dragging.
Provide the popcorn.
Exactly. Hey, are we in delay? The projectionist just said, stop with the So anyway, Guardians of the Galaxy, you can bring it home. It was released digitally last week. Now you can get all the juicy extras, only available on Blu-ray, lots of behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Universally, no pun, I think we like this movie.
Oh yeah, I loved it. I mean, I've said it over and over again. Not a comic book person,
but still.
loved
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy and Volume 2.
And you know what you're getting. If you love Volume 1, you're gonna love Volume 2. And a lot of movies, the second one is never that good, but this one is just as good as the first one, if not better, because it has that more emotional tie, and it has Kurt Russell.
No, I don't know if you guys are like me, but sometimes I don't want to watch like the whole film. I want to watch a scene from the film.
Yeah.
So, but the first scene in this, I've talked about this like 100 times on the show already, but the first scene is so much fun. I mean, if you could just put that on and be like, okay, I'm gonna have a good day, and then move on to something else.
I know people that are trying to learn how to dance like Groot strictly based on the way he's dancing in the opening.
That's great.
Baby
Yellow
Groot.
moment.
That was one of my favorite parts.
I always forget that's Vin Diesel. Right?
Yeah, I know.
Voicing it, you'd never think that
Kelly,
was Vin
it's
Diesel.
not really Vin
It's just
Diesel.
animated.
just
It's
animated.
his. He doesn't shrink down. I heard he can shrink down.
No, that's just
But
movie
Baby
magic.
Groot is one of the highlights of the film, if you
love
ask
Baby
me. He's
Groot.
adorable.
The guy who had the hardest task at hand was James Gunn, the director, who had to hit the high notes that he hit in the original, which were almost impossible, but he did it. I got him to wax anecdotally and got him to go on a bit of a tirade. Take a look.
Ooh.
I want to quote you, but I want to make sure I read it so I don't screw it up, because I love this quote I read about you. You said, if you think people who make superhero movies are dumb, come out and say we're dumb. But if you as an independent filmmaker or a serious filmmaker think you put more love in your characters than Russo brothers do Captain America, Joss Whedon does the Hulk, or I do a talking raccoon, you're mistaken.
That's true.
So who are these people that are attacking such?
Well, I think I made that quote at a time when there were a lot of negative things being said about superhero and comic book movies during the Oscars by some people that were creating movies that were up for Oscars. And the director who actually said that apologized to me, so I don't want to nail him.
Who was it?
I'm not going to say because he apologized. But I think that there were different people. You know, they have. You know, sometimes people have an attitude about these types of movies. But the truth is I spent 3 years of my life working on every aspect of this movie from top to bottom. I do nothing else but work on this movie. I love these characters. I love Rocket. I spend all of my time thinking about them. I go to bed every night thinking about them. I wake up every morning thinking about them. I put my entire heart and soul into them. And to say that somehow makes me, you know, less of a filmmaker or someone who isn't as committed to the art of filmmaking because I love these characters or because they're comic book movies, screw you. You know, it's like that's not how I see it.
Amen. Well said. Just wanted you to say it again. Take that, snotty people who don't think comic book movies are art.
Yeah, that makes me mad.
I think it requires a lot more art since there's so much more that goes into it in terms of creating characters.
Yeah, and the acting. Think about the acting. I mean, the drama in this, what those characters are fighting for is no less than Shakespearean.
That's true. That's a good call.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, we'll end on a high note. Thanks for hanging out with us.
We have a good show next week, right? It's movies that kick ass during,
that's
kick
right.
ass during the summer, right?
Butt.
Kick butt? Oh, butt. Kick butt.
Yeah, you kiss your children with that
Kick
mouth.
butt.
Movies that,
Blank it out.
movies that kick derriere next week. It's going to be awesome. Have a good one. Popcorn?
Derriere.
Popcorn.